I am Marjorie Baldahao, and for today, I will be discussing the introduction of broken line. So the creation and interpretation of a broken line graph will be covered in this session. First, let's know about graph. So graph is a visual depiction of statistical information or a relationship between variables that serves a purpose. A broken line graph, in which time is typically the independent variables, is the most typically type of graph. Graphs are graphs of time, where time is typically the independent variable. To approximate a curve representing, say, seasonal swings in sale trends, data points are placed on a grid that connected with line segments. When drawing a full-size set out, it is customary to employ broken lines rather than depicting the entire scene. Broken lines shows that the drawing of an object that was too large to fit in on the paper has been broken.
This data recorded are represented by points that are then connected to one another by segments to form a broken line that illustrates the evolution of phenomenon under consideration. A broken line graph is a diagram with a horizontal axis divided into units of time and a vertical axis that displays the values of the qualitative characteristics studied. Some writers refers to the graph with broken lines as a line graph. In that the segments connect the road vertices, the broken line graph is comparable to a road graph. When illustrating the distribution of a quantitative statistical trait, the broken line graph is extremely helpful. It's frequently used to show how a phenomenon changes over time. A broken line graph is a type of a line graph, with its importance to demonstrate change over time. A graph line of this type is utilized. However, a broken line graph, in which time is typically the independent variable, is the most typical type of graph.
I am Kate Angela D. Pacolanang, representing the definition of terms of broken line graph. Title: It describes the topic of the graph. Broken line graph. In a broken line graph, the data recorded are represented by points that are then connected to one another segments to produce a broken line. The diagram has a horizontal axis separated into units of time and a vertical axis that displays the values of the qualitative attributes analyzed. Line graph. A graph with a single line or a segment connecting each point to represent data often has one or more points. X-axis. A graph's horizontal scale is called the x-axis. The coordinate plane measurements are made using it as a reference line. An object's position on the plane is defined by its distance from the x and y axis. Y-axis. The axis of plane Cartesian coordinate system parallel to which ordinates are measured, one of the three axes in a three-dimensional rectangular coordinate system. Data has two or more lines with a time factor typically serving as the independent variable. An approximate curve showing, say, seasonal swings in sales trends is produced by plotting data on a grid and then connecting it with line segments. Graph. A method for counting the number of categories in a graph. Lines. The estimated of the values between the points are provided by the lines connecting to the points. Scales. We can determine how many by referring to the horizontal and vertical scales at the bottom. Labels. At the vertical scales along the sides, the horizontal scales across the bottom line let us know what types of facts are provided. Points. The graph's points plots displays the data.
So, steps and procedure. Step 1. Create your x-axis and y-axis. Step 2. Label each axis. Step 3. Write in the scale that show your interval. Step 4. Plot the data using points. Step 5. Connect the point with a line. Step 6. Write in your title.
Anna is a fruit vendor at Cebu Carbon Market. On her first week in business, she sold 1,000 apples, which is good for a starter. In the following week, her sales dropped to half from the prior week. On the third week, she sold 600 apples in just 4 days. On the fourth week, Anna's friends came over to help her and was able to sell 2,050 apples in 3 days.
Solution of the problem. Hello everyone, I am Don Beatriz Libaton and I am going to show you the solution of our problem.
Step 1. Create your x-axis and y-axis. Step 2. Label each axis. Step 3. Write in the scale that shows your intervals. Step 4. Plot the data using points. Step 5. Connect the points with a line. And last but not the least, write in your title.
Now, by just looking at this graph, we can now answer the given questions. Showing you is the following broken line graph represents the monthly sales of September. Question A. How many apples did Anna sell on the second week? Answer. On the second week, Anna sold 500 apples. Question B. How many did Anna sell on the first 2 weeks? Anna sells 1,500 apples on the first 2 weeks. Question C. What is the average sales for the month? Answer. 1,000 plus 500 plus 600 plus 2,050 is equals to 4,150. Divided by 4 is equals to 1,037.5. The average sales for the month is 1,037.5.
Hi, my name is Diane Castaneda and I'm here to present the answers for the questions. So for the first question, how many apples did Anna sell in the second week? So looking at the graph for the second week, we see that she sold 500 apples. Therefore, in the second week, Anna sold 500 apples. So for the second question, how many did Anna sell in the first 2 weeks? So on the first week, Anna sold 1,000 apples, and on the second week, she sold 500. And if we add those together, we get 1,500 apples. Therefore, in the first 2 weeks, Anna sold 1,500 apples. So for the last question, what is the average sales for the month? So to get the average sales, we have to add how many apples Anna sold in 4 weeks and we divide it by 4. So on the first week, she sold 1,000 apples. On the second week, she sold 500. And on the third week, she sold 600 apples. And on the fourth week, she sold 2,050 apples. So when we add those together, we get 4,150 apples. And if we divide it by 4, we get 1,037.5 apples. So the average sales for the month is 1,037.5 apples.
Conclusion. In conclusion, a broken line graph are constructed with the dependent data on the vertical y-axis and the independent data on the horizontal x-axis. A broken line graph is important to demonstrate changes over time. However, a broken line graph in which time is typically the independent variable is the most typically type of graph. Line graphs are valuable because they clearly display data variables and patterns, and they can help make us prediction about the outcomes of data has not yet been recorded. Usually, a broken line graph is given to you, and you must interpret the given information from the graph.